Hey guys. Well, she's pretty windy down here today on the beach. We are near the end of the day, and I'm shielding the microphone at the moment, so hopefully that's working. If not, then feel free to let me know. In fact, let me get the comments up and at me here somewhere. Comments. We are on comments, which is cool. And okay, cool. There we go. All right. So, yeah, let me know if you can't hear me. It's too windy. My hand over the mic, so hopefully that's working like a bit of a simple windsock thing. Anyway, so we are here. We are Thursday, and it's going to be a public holiday tomorrow here on the Goldie. And what's this little micro training all about? Well, it's going to be about. In fact, we'll just take a quick commercial break because right here we have a bunch of surf iron women about to do some practice. As you can see, the sort of things that happen down here with the different clubs along the beach. And in fact, it's Northcliffe Surf Club. They are the most successful in Australia. 16 years in a row, they won the national titles. How's that for a pretty good run, right? Wow. And their club doesn't look. It's a nice looking club. You can kind of see it back there, but they don't have anything special infrastructure-wise compared to anybody else. And in fact, the chief operating officer, who also owns a financial planning business, his name is Scott Bradford, was one of my first clients and one of my most vocal. He came on the 12-week program as a CEO and COO of the surf club, as CEO of his own business, and his wife, and we did a 30-day challenge with his team. And his wife, who's the CFO, tells me, Genevieve, that it was a 38% reduction in absenteeism and 45% increase in productivity. So I'm going to be double clicking that next week to go and just check how that math kind of came about, but it sounds pretty astounding to me. And at the same time, I wouldn't be super surprised if they were the results, because they certainly complied and implemented a lot of the learnings that they got from the program. And Scott, who was pretty fit as a surf lifesaver himself, Scott also he went to super optimization, and he didn't need to lose weight, but as a result, he ended up releasing about 4 or so kilos, which was not the plan. The plan was to get optimized, and what do you need to do with the usual, with your eating, you're moving and you're sleeping, and of course they're all connected. We've mentioned this a couple of times, right? Also with a bit of thought stuff as well, thinking, which is the next level to go to. So he had some great results. He said that his energy increased. In fact, he gave me a video testimonial, which was very complimentary and somewhat surprising. I didn't expect him to be not as positive as he was. I just didn't expect that level of commitment in the feedback to the program, and how well it actually worked for him, his wife, and the team. And it's always good when you can do it with a partner as well, right? Because a lot of this is basically connected to your environment at home, let alone your environment also in the office. So anyway, whoa, didn't expect to go there, but we were walking past, it kind of jogged my memory, and I thought I'd mention it. There we go, infomercial right at the beginning. So the F word, and I know I've got a WTF in there as well, just to throw you. And I did a talk yesterday at a breakfast about the F word. I just wanted to check people's uncomfortability level on the F-ometer. in case I accidentally let go of the odd explicitive. And when I asked, because I do, is there anybody that gets offended by the F word? There's always one. We had one hand come up, to which, of course, my rebellious side engaged and said, "Oh, fuck." And yeah, there was a couple of little sniggers and laughs. But the F word is fear. And right now, the world is probably in its biggest state of fear it's been certainly since I can remember. And you've got to have a think about, putting this into perspective. Because when, at the end of my talk, which was around how fear in our heads is, well, of course, it's the number one motivator, right? You don't have to be a PhD psychologist, psychiatrist, or whatever to realize that you learn it in biology at school or in your first year and doing a general sort of a subject at university, that fear is the biggest motivator, and it's there to protect. It's there to protect you. The same as pain, and pain I look at these days as my guide. Right? It's pointing me somewhere. There is some pain there for some reason. What is it? Right? It'll point you in a direction. Fear is another pain. It's an emotional sort of pain. It don't feel good. It's scary. Anxiety and those sorts of things also pack in there. And all that's happening is remembering. It's connecting to emotions that then have this feeling come up of, it could be a fear-related feeling. Once again, it's protection. Now, if you've got a lot of bad shit that's, been recorded in your subconscious, and there in the memory, that, as your reticular activation system and your prefrontal cortex sort of connected to that, it's like your radar constantly scanning and sweeping, and it identifies something, and then it goes, whoa, put the alarms out. This is what happened last time. But that's all history, right? So working beyond that. Now, the thing is, of course, a lot of marketing, sales, manipulation, all of that crap is, of course, based on the number one motivator. Why wouldn't you? It's good for business. Is based on fear. It doesn't motivate as much as pleasure does. People are constantly in that mood. Geez, when you do sales training 101, what's the first basic thing you learn is, Mr. CEO, what keeps you up at night? It's the first thing you're asked in the training. It's a little screwed up, right? Tell me what keeps you up at night? Because the biggest motivation is going to come from removing that fear. And if you can convince that they have your trust from a character point of view and they believe that you have the capability, having that trust as well, then you're going to probably, that guy's going to relate, he's going to connect with you. He's like, great, I could really do with some more sleep, and I've got to keep my job because I've got the mortgage and there's the kids' education, and I've got the BMW, whatever it is, parked outside because I've got to keep up with the Joneses because that's the way the world has gone. Then there's fear. Fear of I can't pay the bills. Fear of all this fantastic amount of infrastructure that I built up that's loading on me in the back of my head constantly every day, where I got to keep working hard, I got to move up the ranks, I got to get a bigger paying job, is not a healthy place to be. So changing that, and then on top of that, we get this thing called COVID, which gives everybody job insecurity, and then you've got a whole lot of this pivot. How many times have you heard that word? How many times have you heard the word pivot and unprecedented over the last 5 or so months? Right? Talk about cliche. So that, and the other side of that is there is an opportunity for certain businesses, and I don't mind saying, obviously, wellness is something that people have become a lot more conscious of now. That's moved up the ranks, and for organisations, and to attract talent, to keep talent. And once again, if you want to be cynical about it, you can say, well, this is still connected to money, yes. But, you know, what the hell, the wellness industry will take it anyway, because it is an important thing, regardless of what those in the wellness industry's intent is. But, you know, I have to say that we have an opportunity right now to start to change the way we're thinking about these things, and it's only fear. So when you put it into perspective and you look at the fact that if you believe the World Health Organization and that we are dying 73% of the time in the Western world from chronic disease, and I think COVID's still there at a rather paltry 1 to 2%. The fear piece, you know, 73%, and I've been slowly killing myself. Some might call it aging. And I know one guy, he's an Australian working at MIT as a professor. I think he's still at MIT, or is he Harvard? He's been to both. Is trying to get the FDA and the regulators to recognize that aging is actually a disease. And in fact, he even mentions a figure that even if there was a cure for cancer, it would only statistically give you another couple of years anyway. Why? Because something else would get you. But it doesn't have to be that way. And that's why, especially with a lot of the longevity stuff that's coming out now, and the stuff that anywhere you go to get any form of a longevity holistic approach, the first thing they're going to do is check your lifestyle factors. They're going to check, are you eating properly? Are you moving properly? Are you sleeping properly? And not only that, what does properly mean? Properly as in specific for you, because there is a way to work that out. So, getting back to fear, when you look at 1% to 2%, maybe are dying from COVID, and 73% are still there and rising as mental health disease and so on is coming through. Disease is coming through the ranks. Diabetes type 2, all from the crap diets that have been promoted, and the addiction around these things for numbing out, because the chemical engineers have done a great job at finding the bliss point in the brain to make them addictive, because of course that means more sales. So taking the conscious decision to learn about what is clean fuel and what is the right fuel specifically for you, when you should be eating, what's the right exercise, when you should be doing it, what's the right sleep, as in when should you be sleeping, and then getting down to the genetic level, seeing what the predispositions are to really fine tune switching on the right genes for you. That's what's going to happen if you attend, some clinic that's got some sort of at least longevity protocol that's worth its weight before they start doing all the biohacking stuff. So as we wind this back to fear, this fear creates stress, and that is what is creating most of the problems today, because we have so many things that are coming at us, and it's all through our devices pretty well. The amount of information is phenomenal, and it's getting faster in our little brains. And the slowest part of the brain is that front 4% prefrontal cortex, because it's analysing and rationalising, and you end up getting this decision fatigue. So that can be pretty stressful when you're having to make so many decisions so quickly, and cortisol cranks up, and all what they call the HPA, or the hypothalamus pituitary axis, adrenal axis, when you've got that cranked, especially if you're in the corporate world and you're under pressure, and if that's happening constantly to help you survive because it thinks that you are under threat, then that will come and bite you on average somewhere around your mid-40s and beyond. In fact, maybe even a little earlier. All right? But with this COVID thing, a lot of the health issues are coming out of the fear, and there is question on how accurate the tests are as well, and the categorization, which we won't go into on this little episode, but how causes of death are being categorized as well. I've been seeing some data coming through that cancer number and all the stuff we're normally dying of seem to be reducing. So those numbers are reducing and the COVID ones are picking up. Do the math on that. Anyway, that's about it, guys. I did get on the soapbox a bit there. Sorry about that. Some things I feel a bit strongly about. Go figure. And the thing is, fear is not healthy, and all we're fearing is like fear itself. It's not something that's actually happening to us. It's something that's being conjured up in your own brain. Because if you're thinking something that could happen in the future, or you're thinking about something that happened in the past, then you're not present. And if you're present, then you're not in a fear state. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to wish you a great beginning of almost the weekend. And as I said, it's public holiday here, but I'll be tapping away at my labour of love, still doing the stuff that I kind of normally do, maybe a bit more relaxed fashion tomorrow, as I smoothly transition into the weekend. So whatever you're doing, wherever you are, I hope you are well, and I will catch you on the next episode. I didn't even entitle this properly, did I? As I usually do. The better tune in. We'll see you on the next Better Tune In. Okay, bye guys. Where are we? There we go.